Hi everyone, and welcome to the early input meeting for 1630 Lynn Valley Road, also known as the site of the Lynn Valley Legion. My name is David Wolstenholme, and this video is to present the proposed redevelopment of the site, which includes an OCP amendment, rezoning, and development permit. The collective vision that is being presented today is based on 3+ years of discussion and input from the Legion Renewal Committee, Legion membership, myself, BC Yukon Command, and community stakeholders. Once a proposed redevelopment is complete, the Legion and my family will become co-owners in the new property. The presentation today consists of 3 parts. Part 1 will be an overview of the site location, characteristics, and current zoning. Part 2 will be a visual walkthrough of some sketches and our mutually developed concept. And Part 3 will highlight stated DNV goals, along with how this proposal addresses those goals. The full presentation is approximately 15 minutes. So here we have Part 1. From a location perspective, the orange area is the Lynn Valley Town Center. And the site of the proposed development at 1630 Lynn Valley Road in the upper right-hand corner is approximately 1 kilometer or 1,000 meters away. So as you can see, this slide represents a close-up view of the site, which is quite triangular in nature. The site itself is fairly large at 4,188 square meters, or a little over 45,000 square feet, and has 2 significant elevations. On the front-hand side, on Lynn Valley Road, the slope is 7.6 meters, or approximately 25 feet, and the slope or rise from Lynn Valley Road up to Lawrence Place behind is 6.1 meters, or approximately 20 feet. So you might be wondering, what's there today? So this here is a picture of the property as it stands today. On the right-hand side, we can see the current Legion clubhouse, and then a surface-based parking lot that covers the majority of the site. Surrounding the site, we can also see a number of large trees and some fairly significant vegetation. I expect a number of people are curious as to the current land use designation and the existing zoning for this site. There are 2 aspects. Today, the OCP designation for the property is institutional, and the zoning regulation is public assembly, or PA. The allowed building types include, but are not limited to, club, or Legion, social center, community hub, nursing home, and government buildings. From an existing zoning perspective, this site supports a floor space ratio up to 2.0 and an allowed height up to 12 meters. The allowed building coverage is 50%. With the addition of driveways and hard surfaces, one can have 90% site coverage. So now, on to Part 2. In considering the context I've just presented, what are we proposing? Well, here's the concept. This sketch shows a horizontal view as one is driving up Lynn Valley Road. We are proposing to build a new club, Legion, which will be located prominently on the left-hand side, along with a cenotaph and flag area. On the same floor as the Legion will be the new social center for community use. In addition, there will be 96 rental units along with a courtyard and garden area in the central portion of the property. I'll be talking in more detail about each aspect over the next few slides. So here we have another sketch with a different perspective, this time from the other side of Lynn Valley Road. And while it might appear as 3 separate buildings, it is actually being designed as one building on a single foundation. It is being designed this way to appear as 3 smaller buildings to fit into the neighborhood and community context. And the breezeways, or the open space that you see between the structures on level 1, will provide public views to the trees, the central courtyard, and the orchard beyond. And the glass walkways above the breezeway on floors 2, 3, and 4 will allow for additional light to travel through the property. And lastly, from a height perspective, this red line is an approximate representation of the current zoning today. And so for this slide, this image represents an overhead view of the site and what is being proposed. From this perspective, we can see the 2 rental buildings, which are highlighted with the dotted red line, and those are sitting on top of an underground parquet. Again, we can see the Legion Community Kitchen and Social Center on the left-hand side and the central courtyard in the middle area. On this slide, I'd like to talk about parking. As you can see, we are proposing 137 parking spots plus loading area, while the DNV bylaws for this proposed project have been calculated at 209. The bicycle parking we are proposing is 32 spots, or approximately 50% more than what is required under the current DNV bylaws. We appreciate concerns about parking and potential community impact, and to that end, we will be engaging an independent transportation study. We feel that between all the bus stops within 5 minutes of the site, relative proximity to the town center, and the supported bike lanes, we will be able to reach a suitable compromise. So again, this is a close-up of the new Legion location along with the cenotaph and the flag area. And today, the current Legion is approximately 372 square meters, and under the current zoning operates as a club and social center. And under this proposal, the new Legion and social center space will increase to 560 square meters, or approximately 6,000 square feet. So here we have the community kitchen and the multiple user groups that we see. The first wave will be used by the new Legion for their day-to-day operations. The second is for resident meal support. So the vision here is that residents who are interested can subscribe to a monthly meal service or plan. And I think the benefit for a senior resident is very clear. But irrespective of age, it will be available to everyone. And the third way we anticipate using the community kitchen is by offering a nonprofit food operator access to the facility. This access would help provide much-needed stability for meal preparation and community meals. We are currently in the midst of working through the specifics with Liz Lindsay, who runs Sharing Abundance. Food security on the North Shore is a hidden but real issue. And as a charity, Sharing Abundance was serving more than 7,000 meals a year, pre-pandemic, directly in North Vancouver over 3 programs. So community meals, senior lunches, and a program in conjunction with Neighborhood House for children and families. And here we have the social center, which will be located on the same floor as the Legion and also supported under the existing zoning. This will be for use by both residents and the greater community. The space as proposed right now is 186 square meters, and it will expand the public assembly use of the site, and it will assist with combating social isolation. So while the list of possibilities for the activities we see here is quite endless, some of the ideas include nonprofit pop-ups, storefront services for vulnerable groups, community meals and gatherings, game night, community movie nights, and other social activities. So this slide here is around housing, and a key aspect to this proposal is a desire to provide inclusive housing that is intergenerational and vibrant. What does that mean? Well, it means housing for families, singles, couples, veterans, abled and non-abled individuals, and seniors, just not exclusively for seniors. Well, here's a unit mix breakdown. What we're proposing is as follows. As discussed, there are 2 buildings which contain 96 greatly needed rental units, with 10 of them being under market in perpetuity. The unit mix breakdown is as follows. 22 studios, 25 one-bed units, 30 two-bed units, and 19 three-bed units. With our plan, there will be no displacement of people, 96 rental units will be provided, and greatly needed family units that are absent from the market today will be created. So, for the central courtyard and community garden, what do we see here? Well, the courtyard will be accessible from multiple locations and act as another area for socialization and community interaction. A central meeting area and garden space with appropriate seating will support active socialization and a healthy community. Within the courtyard space, we anticipate the growing of vegetables to be used within the community kitchen. This space and its use will be compliant with the district's noise bylaw. And now for part 3. In support of a rezoning and OCP amendment, this proposal addresses many aspects of DNV stated policy and goals. This final section is not meant as an exhaustive summary of policy, but rather to highlight how this proposal addresses many community goals. From a social perspective, from a housing perspective, and from a public assembly land strategy perspective. So here are a few stated OCP social goals. Facilitating a food system that supports long-term community and environmental health. supporting the provision of passive and active outdoor recreational opportunities within reasonable walking distance, providing a safe, socially inclusive, and supportive community, and facilitating the delivery of accessible community services and social programs to meet the current and future needs of all district residents. So, in response to these social objectives from the DNV, the garden and kitchen support food security and long-term community health. This site is in close proximity to many nearby trails and recreational areas. We are committed to creating a diverse and socially inclusive community, and we are facilitating the delivery of accessible community services and social programs with our social center. So now, let's talk about some of the stated OCP housing goals. Well, one is provide an increase in net rental housing, which is a 2030 target. To provide an increase in accessible units, also a 2030 target. To address lack of housing diversity and affordability. And to encourage and facilitate a wide range of multifamily housing sizes, including units suitable for families with an appropriate number of bedrooms and smaller apartment units. So let's talk about how our proposal addresses those goals. This proposal contributes net rental housing towards the 2030 target. This proposed development will support accessibility and accessible units. We are providing diverse housing, mixed types, and affordability with 10 under-market units in perpetuity. And we are facilitating a diverse mix of units, including greatly needed family units. And the third area I'd like to talk about is the stated public assembly land strategy goals. So, Council supports partnership models for PA land in order to increase the stability and financial viability of community organizations. 2 is that all new PA lands or spaces should be accessible by transit and preferably integrated with other community infrastructure. 3, provide an overall benefit to the community and immediate neighborhood. And 4, fit with the overall land use directions and policy of the OCP. So, in response to these stated goals for public assembly lands, this plan significantly increases the stability and financial viability of the Legion, so they continue to provide community outreach and charitable giving. The bus stops around the Legion will ensure accessibility to the food and community supports offered by this proposal. And by creating this synergy of shelter, food security, mobility with buses, and community together, we're providing stability and significant benefit to the community. And fourth, the OCP policy and land use infers that up to 25% of new development will occur outside of town centers. And while the Legion is not physically in the town center, its long tenured existence and history are central to this community. So with that concludes this early input presentation, and I thank you for watching. This slide and the one following provides multiple ways for you to comment on this proposal and to ask questions. I ask you to get engaged so that together we can think differently and create something fantastic for everyone. Thank you again, and have a good day. Bye for now.